Hey, what's going on everybody? Alex here with Freedom Mowers. I hope you all are doing well. Fall is here and I've got a ton of yard cleanup to do. So I have a chipper shredder that I used last year. I actually made a video on that one. But unfortunately, the plastic housing where you load the debris in is starting to deteriorate and crack. I don't really think it's safe to use that one. Now, I did get this one right here, which is going to be our project for this video. 1992. I looked at the date code on the side here. 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton Craftsman chipper shredder. The only thing I know about this is I tried to pull it earlier and it seems to be locked up. So I'm hoping it's just kind of weather seized and not locked up from low oil. So right off the bat, we'll go ahead, first things first, we're going to check the oil on this. We're going to check the condition of this gas tank and the fuel, if there is any in there. And then we can move forward with hopefully trying to get this turning over freely. And then we can see about hopefully getting this thing to run. Now these are far from being a commercial unit. These are just your standard homeowner units for chipping up small sticks. I think these ones do like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. And then the big bin back here is for like a little bit of brush, leaves, and things like that. I'm barely showing anything here on the stick, so we're gonna have to top that off for sure. Now let me see if we can take a look at this gas tank together. Pretty dark brown, but I don't see a lot of rust in there, which is a good thing. So maybe what we'll end up hopefully having to do is just get that old gas out of there. Probably have to put a new diaphragm in. This is all if we can get this thing spinning. Let's go ahead, we'll pull the plug out, see if we're able to rotate it at that point. We can go ahead and I'll put some penetrating spray down in there to at least lube up the cylinder, and then we can, I guess, either try to pull it or maybe we can get a bar of some sort in there to try and pry on the chipper part and see if we can get that free. Take a look at the condition of this plug too. Doesn't look too bad, a little bit like it was running a little bit rich, but the gap looks pretty good by eyeball. We'll put a little bit of peanut butter blaster in there. Alright, kind of stuck my little cheapo Harbor Freight light in here so you guys can see, but I've got this pipe that comes with the tire iron. So is that even stuck at all? Hold on a sec. See how smooth things are going already? I don't know if there's supposed to be like play on that or what. I thought it was direct drive. I barely put any pressure on it. Maybe it was just kind of stuck with rust. Oh yeah, that's pulling over smooth now. Can you all see that? Alright. Well, that was the easiest kind of stuck engine I've had in a long time. I can see one of the valves moving up and down, and I can see the other one moving up and down. Alright, well, let's see. Let's just check for a spark real quick. So, let's see if these still work. Alright. So in the off, it'll just ground it out. Should be electronic ignition on this since it's from the 90s. Let's see if I can plug this in and do all this one-handed so y'all can see. Maybe we can get it to hold there. All right. Make sure y'all can see. I don't know if you guys can see that, but got a good spark. Give it one more pull and see if you guys can see that. I can't get that close with this camera because then it loses focus. Take my word though, it has good spark. Well, let me get this light out of here before I smash that. Let's just put a little bit of some 2-stroke fuel down in here. Put us a little dribble down in there. Move this out the way. I'm gonna try to yank this beast of a machine one-handed. Oh my Lord. I should have thought about that. Oh my gosh, the rust. Holy mackerel. I gotta get out of here. Let me clear out and then I'll check in with you guys. Oh my Lord, that was not a good idea. Y'all think I should have cranked that up outside? That's what I was thinking too. All right, well, let's see. So, we know it'll run. I guess the next thing I'm gonna have to do, I really don't want to have to pull this tank or this carburetor off unless I absolutely have to. I think what I'm gonna try to do is tip this forward a little bit. I'm just gonna get some rags and stuff it down in there and see if I can soak up all the fuel that's in here. All right, well, I have been sopping up that old fuel in there for a little while, and I've got it basically as cleaned out and dry as I can from just the opening there. It doesn't look too bad. Obviously, taking the tank off and cleaning it and everything thoroughly would be the best option, but I am just trying to get this going for myself and so I can get some work done around here. I am just going to go ahead and finish topping off the oil in here, and then we're going to throw in some fresh fuel and we'll give it a whirl and see if we can get it to start. All right, I had to get my bottle all set up, but I've got the air cover and air filter out. And what I'm going to do, squirt a little bit down in there. I'll leave my bottle kind of sitting here, and we'll give it a couple pulls, and I'm gonna see if I can keep it going. Alright, maybe not. Hold on. Choke. I don't think it's gonna pull that fuel. All right, well, I got us back in here. I just started I was trying to figure out what size the bolt was on here, so you just gotta spread these tabs down. These just lock the muffler bolts in place so they don't back out. And there's one more tab up here at the top. Ooh, still a little spicy on the top. All right, and then right here on the side, underneath of this plate, is our diaphragm. We just have 4 flathead screws on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those backed out, and then I'll show you guys when we start pulling this diaphragm out. Last screw. There we go. It's got a little keeper down at the bottom too to line it up. That really doesn't seem too bad, but... So there's a spring and then the retainer that just keeps the spring from basically puncturing the diaphragm. I mean, I guess it's a little dry, but I've seen a lot worse. Alright, so here is a brand new one. You guys can see how this is. It's just got the two little check valves and then the little circular indent there. That is actually what pumps the fuel, or gets a pulse pressure to be able to pick up the fuel. Now, you can see the old one here. It was pretty well pushed out, and also one of the check valves on here, some of the material had broken off from that too. So we'll give this a whirl. Hopefully this fixes it, and if not, then we'll probably just be cleaning out the pickup tube on here. But that's basically all it is. So now I just have to put the spring, the little retainer piece on there. It's gonna be hard to do this one-handed, so I'm just gonna do it off camera, but you get the idea. You put the spring, the retainer in, kind of hold everything in place, put the new diaphragm right in place where the old one went, and then just put the 4 screws back in, and then we'll see if we can get this thing up and running. Alright, well, let's get going here. It's not that these are that difficult, it's just you have a lot of stuff to take off to get to it. So we'll have, this is 5/16, should take off these four bolts that hold the air box on. Make sure I'm not dropping anything in there. I've got my magnetic tray. The 2 screws down here that will take the get these out. These will take the choke and throttle off. Magnets sticking to everything. And then this will lift out of the way. We'll roll that back on the Z-bend. Kind of set that off to the side. So we'll take this arm loose. And that should allow us to disconnect from the governor linkage down below. I think what I'll do is just go ahead and see which way I can get this off the easiest. Spin that and just disconnect it there. And then we can just move this whole piece off. So now we are disconnected from down below with that one. And then, let's see, I think, yeah, we can just pull that arm out. It just snaps in. Now we should be totally free from all of the linkages I think that we need to take off. So we have, let's see, we've got 2 more Phillips screws to go. And then I'm gonna also have to pull the muffler so that I can get to the bolts that hold the intake / carburetor to the block. And that's for our breather tube, which is all dry rotted. They normally are. So that's loose, and now we can move this rod out of the way. Magnet again so I can get it out of there. Alright. So I think we've got everything disconnected here now. I'm gonna pop the muffler back off. Y'all saw that earlier. And then we'll get the two bolts that hold the carburetor on. All right, at this point, the tank is just holding on to the bracket at the bottom. We should be able to work this carburetor off. Probably gonna rip the gasket. I think I have another one now. And that's pretty much how you're gonna get it out. Once you get it up here at the top, you kind of have to twist it a little bit. But that thing is filthy. I'm sure that, yeah, I can see stuff already in there. I'm sure that these jets are blocked up too, so. And there's a ton of rusty sediment in the little pickup bowl right here. This is your pickup tube that'll pull from the main part of the tank, and then this is where your fuel normally is that actually goes in as needed while the carburetor's pumping. So this is usually the culprit. This gets dirty or gets water in there and you can't get any fuel up into your main jet. Let me get us set up and we'll get this thing cleaned up a bit. All right, just to save on time, I was gonna show you guys, hard to see, but I went ahead and cleaned this all out. This is just where that fuel sits I was telling you about. I went through, kind of scraped it all down because it had some rust in there and wiped it several times. You can see all the rusty gas and everything that I had gotten out of there. So that's nice and clean now, free of debris. And I did also go through the carburetor. So our pickup tube, I did blow through there and it is free of obstruction and should be able to pull fuel just fine. Now the main jet on here was blocked up. I went through and poked through it. It felt a little resistance and finally it broke free and went through. So I went through it several times and cleaned it. I don't have any carb spray on hand, so I was just doing it the best way I could at the moment. And I think we've got it all freed up. Seems like everything is good. I blew through everything with compressed air as well. Now, I thought I might have a gasket for this. I don't on hand. So what I'm gonna use is some gray RTV. I'm just gonna put just a light coat around, probably on the tank itself, because most of the gasket is still intact. There was just a little bit that came off, so that should help us get a good seal on there, and then we can move on forward. So at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and remount everything back up like the way you saw me take it off, and hopefully we can get this thing rolling. All right, well, I got this thing finally buttoned up. I had to go run some errands, but hopefully we got this thing all set now. Those linkages on there were giving me a run for the money, but got it all back together. I'll set y'all on the tripod here. See what we got. I did tighten up the plug on here. I cleaned out the air filter a little bit, and let's see, I guess that was it. So we'll set it a little bit above idle, choke it. Here we go. Things have a lot of rotating mass. They take forever to shut down. Awesome. It started right up. Idle was set way too high and it's vibrating like crazy, but I think, show you guys earlier when I had looked at this thing. It has like these little like flailing teeth, and I'm wondering if some of those are kind of stuck, because I think earlier, let me take this plug loose. I don't need this thing cranking over with my hands in here. That's loosened. That one's loose. Yeah, see, these ones are stuck a little bit. We'll get some spray on those, because I think it'll throw the whole balance off from it. I'll just soak this thing down. We'll let that kind of soak in, and in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and take this out, and we'll see if we can find some brush to chop up. All right, well, we got this beast out here. I've got a huge pile of stuff that needs to be cleared. I know it's a small unit, but I'll be able to chip away at this, hopefully, figuratively and literally. All right, well, awesome. This thing runs great. I didn't really prep any of this stuff to kind of pull out and start chipping, but you guys can see the little bit that I did chipped up pretty well just for small sticks. And I've got a ton of stuff to cut. I've got all kinds of debris that needs to be trimmed, all the edge of the yard. Had a huge tree limb fall down. That's just gonna be cut up into logs. Maybe some firewood for the winter, but we've got plenty of chainsaw projects coming up, so we'll have some wood to cut for those. But awesome. I think this will be a nice unit. It's all solid metal, and seems to be running pretty good. So I appreciate y'all tuning in, and hopefully this helps somebody. You know, some of these chippers are $500 to $800, and you can find these quite often for either cheap or next to nothing or free. So hopefully this helps somebody try to revive one, or just enjoy watching it come back to life. So on that note, let freedom ring, let those small engines sing. I'll see you all next time.